Well, I'm back a little sooner. I thought I'd show you what I mean with the bamboo stick because it might be something that you'd really like to try. So you just dip it in there and then you start pulling the line, and as you can see, I'm turning it. You just keep turning it, and then you get these really organic looking lines. They are much nicer than if you do this with a marker or something else. And you can see just the tip. You just put the tip in there. You can put them in even deeper, but I don't think you really need to because it loads up a lot of ink. See that? And that is just a beautiful, beautiful line. I'll just put this this little video behind the other one, I think. Or maybe not. Who knows? I can just put it on by itself. Now, if you really want to have some different sort of lines, because I can imagine that you want to do something, you know, with lines, then what you can also do is just take off a little bit of the point. And that's why you buy them. Usually you buy a couple. You don't just buy one or two of these sticks. You just buy 6 or 9 or whatever. These come per 3. Because if you take off the point, as you can see, then your line gets broader than the other ones. As you can see, just a little bit because I just took off a little bit. But now I'm going to take off a little bit more. Put it in there. And as you can see now, it's even broader. I kind of like that better, where it has these little jaggedy edges, but that's kind of cool. So if you buy a couple of these, what you can do before you start using them, you can just make up a whole series of different sorts. That's kind of cool to do, right? So as you can see, those are really nice, and they come out really pretty if you do something with color and you put this on as the last layer. See? Make it go in there, make it come out like that. Now, this stays wet pretty long, so if I were to go over this and rest my hand on the paper, this would smudge like crazy. I'll show you. See that? So you don't want to do that. If you're going to start with the Indian ink and you've never had this before, best thing you can do is just do one and just one line like this, and then just give it a couple of minutes to dry. You can even use a little hair dryer, little heat tool, just, you know, make it dry. That's best. Now, another thing that you have to watch out if you're going to do this is that when you wet this stuff, because these lines here are dry, when you come in with water, as you can see that? It's not waterproof. So it'll always start to run again. It will, the basic line will stay, but as you can see, you don't want to come in, you know, with watercolors later. So that's why you first make your background. You do everything on it what you want to do, and then as last you come in with this stuff, because it does have a tendency to run, so you don't want to see that in your art. Or maybe you do. Maybe that's the thing you're going for. That could be. I have seen some people do both. So they would come in like this, give it a little ink here, a little ink there. Just a couple of small ones like that. And then come in with water. And somehow it always, you know, starts looking like some Chinese thing. I don't know why that is. But some people really like the you know, the less control you have over something, the better. Because then it's sort of something that no one can create. Only, you know, the person that has created it. So that's kind of flowy. I kind of like that. And this is also a way, you know, when you have a new medium, it's good to just you know, just do something with it. You don't have to open the bottle and expect to make beautiful art straight away. A good thing to do is use it, see what happens, put water in, do something else, you know, just to see how it reacts to certain other mediums. And that way, you know, some people just all of a sudden come up with totally their own unique art piece of it, you know, using the mediums. I've seen that so many times and just thought, you know, that is awesome. If you take your time and really get to know your medium and use it in different ways, that's really cool. Now, as you can see here, I'm holding it up a little closer. Let's see if it's in focus. Yeah. Here you can see how it really gets runny. And right now you'd say, well, that's nothing. But it's not about the art. It's more about, you know, getting to know the medium. Now, the funny thing is, even though this is totally nothing, if I were to frame this, look at that. All of a sudden it starts to, you know, to turn into something that people would stop and just look at, what did she do? How did she do it? Right? Because all of a sudden it turns into art. And that's something that I've maybe not put enough stress on. Having a couple of these mats is really cool, because sometimes you just do something and you're thinking, well, that's not so pretty. But then you just have to come in with one of these mats and look at it. And all of a sudden it changes and it's interesting. And I don't know, I think that's a good thing to do. Now, if I were to take just one of these watercolors, put that on here. Let me clean my brush. Let that run. Look at that. Then you start bringing in the color, and all of a sudden it has a whole different meaning to it. And framing that, it starts looking awesome. So buy a couple of these. These aren't that expensive, and it's kind of cool to play around with them. Getting pieces out of canvases that you don't like. I'll show you that. Now this is one that I'm pretty sure that you remember, because I did a video on this one. But just say that this is a canvas and you're not happy with what it turned into. What I would do is get one of these little mats, and I'd get them in different sizes, because that's you know, just always handy. But look at that. Now that looks really beautiful. So what I do, I'd take off the canvas off the frame, and I would cut it and then frame it, and you have something that you could sell at an art show. Otherwise, you'd just be throwing it out, and that's, you know, I don't really think that's good to do. But look at that. That is beautiful too. And then coming back in here, this is kind of cool. That is cool. That is cool. Everything's cool. All of a sudden it comes to life just because you frame it. And that's, you know, not all people have the mind and the imagination of an artist. So that's why some people, you know, when you really finish it off, you frame it, put it in a really pretty frame, and you hang it, then people can really, you know, get connected to it, because, well, just not everyone can see that for themselves. If I see this, I can right from the start, I know that I like this bit, I like this bit, I like this bit, and maybe I would like that bit. So straight out of the ballpark, I do that, right? But not everyone can do that. So that's why it's handy to have one of these and just go look for the most beautiful parts of your work. Okay, enough of that. Now I'll be right back. Laters!